What is going on? You are watching and listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition. This is episode 454. I am your host, Stevie, alongside my co-host, partner in crime, Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. I'm wearing my beautiful Rupaul shirt that my boo got for me. Thank you, boo.
Oh, absolutely. From RuPaul's Drag Race live in Vegas, the show that everybody needs to see. You know, my neighbor's going to be going to Vegas in a week or so, and I told him it's a must. You must go see it. It's great. You will not be disappointed. So, yeah, check that out if you're going to Vegas anytime soon. Well, it is Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. We're in front of a live virtual audience. So far, I see Eli. I've seen some other people coming on board soon. Feel free to comment, say hi, weigh in, and all the above. We're here for you for this next hour of a show. Okay, we've got so much to get into, Kodi, on this episode 454.
Oh, yeah.
Right off the bat, we have to shout out to some allies. We're labeling this first segment Allies, and I didn't know of this singer, but she's very popular. Kelseaa Ballerini.
Ooh.
I just hosted the CMT Awards out in Austin, Texas. Country music. She also performed, Kodi, at the awards ceremony. And that's what's caused a major stir, both good and bad. For our community, it's a great thing because she brought on Drag Race stars onto the stage. And she didn't really talk about this in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you some of the people that she brought up to the stage from RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm talking about Manila Lazan.
Love her.
Kennedy Davenport.
Love her.
Jan Sports.
Shy.
Okay. Olivia Lux.
She's good, yeah.
And they all came out in Kelsea's performance of If You Go Down, and I'm Going Down Too. Mm-hmm. And it's an ode to solidarity, essentially. And she decided to make a statement towards what's going on in Tennessee, which temporarily is blocked, but would essentially, if it still goes back into effect, because it's kind of on hold right now, would block drag queens from performing in cabaret spaces. So like blocking them all together, in which a younger person could be there. What I think is really cool is, there were some kids in this audience that people brought to the CMT Awards, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
She decided to, although it wasn't in Tennessee, it was in Texas, albeit the best city in Texas, Austin. I love Austin actually a lot. It's so cool, but it's also very liberal. But she did it in Texas, where so many laws are also being enacted, including one like Tennessee that would ban drag queens from performing in cabaret spaces, amongst many of the other rights that they're trying to take away from us. I think this was legendary that she did this. And, the other thing, Kodi, about it is she got she got some love, obviously, from our community, but she got so many comments on her social media, like, I'm so disappointed in you, Kelseaa, for doing this. I can't believe you would do this, because I think as much as, Dolly Parton and people like Kelseaa are this loving group of country performers and artists, there's maybe, and I would assume, a lot of people that maybe aren't. And I think you were saying something offline that we're always preaching to the choir. It makes an impact. Tell me what you were telling offline.
Yeah, I was saying that we always have these types of discussions amongst ourselves and the LGBTQ community, but we really need to get out there in the streets and start talking to people that don't necessarily think like us, so we can expand their viewpoints and open their minds up a little bit. I really love everything about her performance. I love the song. It promotes inclusivity and really banding together. It's so great. I loved her outfit. She had a little reveal going on, so I know she learned some things from the drag queens. I love the whole performance was just wonderful, and she looks like she's so comfortable in her skin. And this really goes to show you that you don't know what an ally looks like, really, about because thank you, because I did
the wrong one. Let me show the there we go.
That's it. She looked so great, and she had like a little dress on, like the other girls at first, and then she revealed to this costume right here, and it was so beautiful. And I was just saying, you never know what an ally really looks like, because when you think of country music and country musicians in particular, you don't think necessarily of them as an ally, but
right.
She really showed up and she showed out for our community. So I really applaud her. Let's go show her some love, because she is so deserving. And I really just thank her so much for putting this issue on her platform like this.
Yeah, I mean, and she's one of the younger people in the industry of country music. So I believe she's in her late 20s. So she's relatively young, and, you know, she's not old school country. She probably represents a lot of what younger people that like country in general are like. So maybe there's this new dichotomy of two sides, and she's the new wave that's going to be an ally for country music fans that say, hey, listen, we like we're open, we're an ally, we're LGBTQ plus, we represent all. And it takes somebody like her. I think it was a brave move, because she may lose some followers by doing something like this. But I know that in reading some other posts on this was planned all week long. She got the okay, not only from the CMT awards that totally backed her up, but the network that I believe it was on. The network was CBS. That CBS was also the one that backed it up too. And they're not the ones. CBS isn't the one that banned or blocked Janet Jackson back in the day for Super Bowl, was it? I think they were.
I will have to look that up. Let me look that up.
So maybe they're trying to make some redeeming qualities after all these years.
They got some points. They're trying to get some points back, honey.
Yeah, right. So, but kudos to her. We love our allies. And staying along with ally talk, we have to shout out to Michael Bublé, who has had enough of all these politicians coming for the LGBTQ plus community. And again, another person that didn't need to do this, but really showing their love and support for the community. He wrote on social media, I'm not a politician. I don't want to be a politician, but I see all these people talking about the LGBTQ plus community, and we've got bigger problems. Those are not problems. Just accept it. How does it change your life? Just love people. Mental health is a big issue in places like America. Gun control, because he's Canadian, right? Gun control is a big issue. Identify how you want to identify, and God bless you. And I just think that's so cool that he took the moment to put that out there. He did not, like I said, have to do that. And I think it speaks volumes for, of course, he's Canadian, and we love our Canadians because they're always... they don't have the level of gun violence that we have in this country.
My God. There's no countries that have that level of gun violence as we do have here. We need so many more stringent gun control laws. But so for me, and this might be an unpopular opinion, this didn't go far enough. It was kind of like he was saying, look over there, we have so many more things that we should be looking at and paying attention to. Just let people live and let live. And I feel like that isn't going far enough. It's not taking a definitive stance against homophobia.
No, but go ahead.
I was just going to say that in my mind, if you are not anti-homophobic, then it's just as bad as being, because that means you're accepting of people actually. I don't know. It's a slippery slope, and I feel like he should have taken a more definitive stance.
Well, I do think, and I keep saying this, I go back to him being Canadian. I think most Canadians in general, or many of them that are like him, really, it's like, you are who you are. We're like, who cares? It's like, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
And so at the end of his statement, when he says, identify how you want to identify, and God bless you, like, it's not why is our country making such a big deal about some of these issues? this shouldn't be something that you focus on. And I think, he is one of the number one selling. He sells so many albums, if we're still selling albums anymore, but he did back in the day. And he sells out so many tours. He has a huge impact and influence. So, I don't think he's preaching to the choir. I think maybe to your point, he could have gone a little bit further with the statement, but he also didn't need to do this.
That's what that was going to be my next point, but he didn't have to do this is the point. It kind of came out of left field. Yeah, and so I do give him points for that, for saying something, speaking on it as far as saying, this is not that really we have more important things to look at, which is very, very true. There are definitely more important things going on. but
anybody that can put in the comment section on who we're talking about on that statement, then you
win a no prize.
You win a no prize tonight. We'll have prizes soon. Finish your point and we got to move on.
Yeah, I just think that he could have went a little bit further. And if you're going to say something and by using your platform to speak on it, go as far as KELSEA went and go all the way with it, because she really put her neck out there. And
yeah, I agree. And maybe he'll take note because, like I said, he's always on tour. Maybe he'll bring out some other RuPaul Drag Race queens out
I'm waiting.
And that's around him. That would
Michael Bublé.
That would be hot. I think he's sexy, and I like
Monet Exchange. She sings opera. Bring Monet out. He doesn't sing opera. He sings jazz or something like that, right?
Jazz. So pop jazz. Yeah. Okay, we've got to move on, and on a total 360. We're talking on this. Let me break this next story down, because it all started with the TikTok influencer, a star by a transgender woman by the name of Dylan Mulvaney. So Dylan Mulvaney has like a huge following, and she posted on her TikTok 365 days of girlhood, in which marked the beginning of her transition journey, which I think is really cool.
No, that's
so she
amazing.
Took 1 whole year to do this. Well, apparently the word got out to Budlight, and Budlight's owned by Anheuser-Busch. And to celebrate her reaching the day, 365 days, Budlight sent Mulvaney a case of beer, Budlight. But not only did they do that, one of the cans featured Mulvaney on the can, like the packaging can. And she's so sweet. I was watching her video and she talked about it, and she put in her video, she documents and says that Budlight did this and how cool. And she posted a couple of videos of her sipping Bud Light, and she also promoted she went on to promote Bud Light's March Madness promotion, which she really didn't know anything about March Madness at all, which I know it only because my sister watches basketball.
Okay, I was like,
Warriors fan. She's a Warriors fan, and that's how I know about it. And every March, I'm like, oh, right, it's March Madness. She's like, I know it has something to do with sports. I don't know what sport. And she was really cute, but go team, and she made light of it. Well, that's the background of the story, but Bud Light apparently, so it's caused a huge stir from 2 different people. One of them was from a right-wing influencer by the name of Bethany Mandel, who also took to her account to essentially say, this is ridiculous. She wrote, this is what happens when you use a marketing and advertising agency that has never met one of your customers. And it's a can of a Bud Light, with the pronouns she, her, celebrate everyone's identity. And she actually is, like, do gays even drink beer? Yeah. Some people commented back, do you think people think gays don't drink beer, with some of the comments? Because gays were quick to point out that, yes, many of us do actually drink beer. We're not all like Carrie Bradshaw, constantly in search of an overpriced Cosmo. Okay, I might be, but
I definitely am.
I kind of am. I do like beer, Kodi. I like a good beer, though. And unlike what some of the people were saying on this thing, I actually like a darker beer, not make it like an amber beer. I'm going to Mexico soon. I like Modelo. when I'm there's a good Thai beer like Singha. Once in a while, like, I like good beer. I don't like Bud Light though, and I'm not going to be drinking
beer
it.
Tasting.
I would love that. But back to Bud Light. So that was where some of the controversy, some of the most horrific backlash came from, if you even remember him, Kid Rock.
Not if you remember him.
And he posted this unhinged, gun-toting video over the Bud Light support for trans rights. And he essentially had a bunch of, in his field somewhere, looking really tired and haggardly, Bud Light cans, and he had this Uzi rifle, and he demolished all the Bud Light, and then went on and said, fuck Bud Light, like he's over it, because of what went on. Like, seriously, this is what it's come down to? Yeah. And a lot of people had a lot to say about, like, oh, he looks bad, and does he realize that he bought Bud Light and is actually supporting Bud Light by buying those cans of beer? Some of it, oh my God, he looks horrible. His eyes reveal so much incredible heartbreak and loss. And then, like the one I stated, this girl, Charlie, said, but he bought the beer. These folks don't know what boycott means, do they?
She's so cute. She's so smart. Yeah, that kind of got me too. I didn't understand why they were buying the beer to destroy it. I don't understand. I don't want to advocate for going, never mind. I don't want to give them any idea, so I wouldn't say what I would do. So I think that, thank you very much, Bud Light, for coming out in support of LGBTQ issues. We're supporting this beautiful trans person and letting people know that we do exist. It means the world to us. Drink beer. And we do drink beer. So you know what? They reached out to the LGBTQ plus community, and because they support us, we're going to support them, because it's one hand washes the other when it comes to something like this. As far as Kid Rock is concerned, he is a mess. I barely even gave him a space in my notes. That's how irrelevant he is. He was saying that he couldn't get canceled. Don't you have to be in the public eye to be canceled? You are nobody, sir. And you look horrible. Unlike KELSEA, who looks amazing because her heart is filled with love. When your heart is filled with hate and you are a disgusting, rotted person, that's why Kid Rock looks the way that he does right now. So, yes.
I mean, some of his followers actually liked what he posted, but a lot of them have been calling him out because it was just disgusting and lame and, whatever. Say what you want, but Bud Light doesn't need you.
We don't need you.
We don't need a tired rocker promoting it. We need somebody. She's probably the whole reason they came to her. Let's just be honest. Bud Light did it because they realized the demographics are changing. Like Kelseaa Ballerini, it's a younger market now that is more accepting. So they are moving away from people like Kid Rock, who doesn't have a footprint on entertainment anymore, and to somebody like Dylan Mulvaney, who really does. Times are changing, and if you're with Kid Rock, you're stale and tired. Go get a facial. We have some comments that we will read in a second, but before we read those comments, we want you to take our first poll.
Yay! That's what I was going to say. Good job,
that relates to our topic at hand, because they were questioning, do gays even drink beer? But we want to know what's your drink of choice? And we've got several that Kodi concocted for you. He's mixed up for you. He's got beer. He's got a cosmopolitan like our girl Carrie B. Bradshaw, a martini, a mixed drink, none because you don't drink, which we respect as well. Vote on that, and we will. And for those of you at home listening to this, I'll try and put this. You can click back on this link in show notes for episode 454. This stays active, this poll, but what you want to do is when you click on there, click on the right side for the poll. It's like these little graphs, and you'll find our poll, and we want you to vote from home too. We're also hearing from you. Anybody have anything to say before I cue up our next story, Kodi?
Eli says that a Doppelbock is his choice of beer, so he obviously drinks beer. He can come with us if he's in the New York area to go on our beer tasting.
Yes.
And Bryce also says that it was Jada Essence Hall that says, "Look over there." So,
hey, you
Bryce
won.
wins.
Bryce wins. Yes, we love Jada. Oh, little sidebar on Jada Essence Hall. Back to Vegas when I saw RuPaul's Drag Race Live. That the T-shirt that Kodi is wearing.
Oh yeah,
Jada Essence.
Look at that.
So I got to see Jada Essence Hall. She was one of the queens in my live show, and apparently they have so many of them, and they mix and match them. Not a lot, so you never know exactly who you're going to see. But I got to see Jada Essence Hall, the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race season. What season?
Oh, girl.
Look over there. All right.
14,
anyway.
14, I think. I believe it's 14.
I think it's 13, but well, you might be right. But okay.
You want to bet? We can bet a beer.
You might be right. Okay. Let's move on to Christina Aguilera, who was recently on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And, interesting things that we learned about Christina in this episode was that even though she had a lot, we all know her originality story started from Disney. But then when she had her solo career early on, she had songs like Dirty and Call Me. What's that song? Come Over Here, Baby. Anyway.
Come on over.
Come on over.
Come on over, baby. Sorry, I had to get my little vocals in there for a second.
Yeah. Well, now that she's 42, she's essentially saying coming clean with everything. And she said she lost her virginity actually a little bit later on than you would have thought, even though a lot of her lyrics were very suggestive back in the day. And she didn't tell us what age. She is 42 now. But one of the things on this show that she was talking about was her and her husband. She gets horny a lot. And she was divulging different places that she's had sex and had fun. And which caused kind of a stir across social media. One of them was on an airplane and somebody asked the question, are you talking about like a private jet plane? And no, she was actually talking on a regular plane, but like at night when the lights are dim after they feed you. I've been in that situation before. And you got the little blankets and she has a little vibrator. And if you just position yourself in certain ways, you can, get it. And that caused like a lot of, I don't know if it was because it was a woman, if it was because we've never heard this side of Christina talk about her sexual life in real life, but people are like, whoa, Christina, go. And then the other thing she said that she's done it with her husband is recording music in the sound studio, like over the soundboard. And so the closest that I could come up with is over the kitchen sink, which I did recently. But I was thinking, Kodi, yeah, that's dirty.
I like that.
But I was thinking, she basically was saying all the things that we do as gay men, essentially, that we've done for years. She's just admitting that, hey, she's also a sexual being too, and doing a lot of the things like, come on, girl, this is how we have sex too. Yes, we all enjoy sex in the bedroom most of the time, but what are some other places that you've enjoyed having sex outside of the bedroom, Kodi, that would relate to Christina?
Well, first, I just want to say I love Christina. I've loved her since the first little trill in the beginning of Genie in a Bottle. Oh my God.
Here we go.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Oh my God. But she's so great. I'm so glad that she's speaking out about her sexuality. In that way, in that respect, she's kind of like Madonna. She doesn't care what people think. She is very unapologetic. She is forthright about her sexuality and what she wants. And that's helped so many girls out there to realize and to kind of accept that it's okay for them to like sex as well, for them to live in their sexuality. So applaud to Christina Aguilera. When it comes to where I like to have sex outside of the bedroom, okay.
We don't have enough time in this show, Kodi, but let's do a little top three.
I got a list right here.
Well, so do I, but we're not going to read it all.
It goes all the way down to the floor. But does the back room count? Because I love a nice back room. It's nice and dark, and You can get it in and not be afraid. I love, like Christina, I like a nice mile high situation when you're under the blanket, or if you go to the bathroom with your partner. Then those bathrooms are so sexy. I always have to, whenever I'm on a flight, I go in the bathroom. I could be alone.
They're so small.
I take my shirt off and I take pictures in the bathroom.
Oh my God. Oh, that's sexy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Those are all good ones. I haven't done go ahead.
I have one more. You said top 3. Yeah. And then I love park sex too. In the woods. It's something so romantic.
No ticks or anything, because I learned about ticks. I'm from the West Coast, and I feel like we don't have them over there. But now I'm on the East Coast. Okay, I have been here for 14 years. So I should know this, but apparently ticks are a big deal. And now I'm like panicked about ticks and all that kind of stuff.
I've never seen a tick here before, so I don't.
Honey, they get in your skin, and you don't want them. You got to pick them out. You just have to look for them. Yes. You just have to look for them after you have been in that situation for a while. But I think outdoor public park sex is good. Beach sex is really hot, and I told it on the show before. But having it in Mykonos, climbing down, which was a little dangerous, but having sex at like 4:35 in the morning, as even a little bit later, I think, by a church. The sun was coming up, a boat was going by but didn't see us. It was really hot, and I do like that. I also like backroom sex at a lot of the bars that we have to go to. Sometimes my straight friends are like jealous because they think that we have so much liberated sexual experiences that so many of our hetero counterparts don't. So I, like you, commend Christina for speaking up about this and saying it's okay to be sexual and have these moments. And why not? I mean, she says I get horny, and I thought that was really good to hear from a woman, because we don't hear it enough, and we should be hearing it more. And I think our community, once again, leading the path, is on target. So good for Christina. Are people saying anything? I see the ticker rolling over there.
The comments are lighting up, boo. So Bryce says that Christina Aguilera is promoting a new lube. She's partnered. I had to Google it. And Christina has partnered with a lube company. It is called it's a vegan lube. Let me get it really quick.
Vegan.
I'm not quite sure. Brand advisor of Playground, Playground Lube. And so that's amazing. I want to try
We need to get that on our show as a sponsor, honey. We just gave her some free press here.
That's right. And we can call Christina.
I'm going to cut this clip out and be like, listen, before we even knew about the lube, the vegan lube, one of our listeners, Bryce, brought us to your attention about this new. Yeah.
Yeah,
we were singing your praises beforehand,
and I was actually singing.
Don't worry, but I'll put that in there because you sounded really. You didn't sound pitchy like I would have sounded. I learned that word from what's her name on RuPaul's Drag Race? She sounded, somebody
Trinity.
Somebody was saying sounded kind of pitchy. Whatever that means, I don't even know what that means.
It means you're not actually quite in the key. It's so. Yeah.
Got it.
And then Eli goes, some of his favorite places are the car, the shore, the woods. And I wrote down in my notes that the beach is not my favorite place to do it.
Because of the sand.
The sand is horrible.
Honey, you just got to make it work. But I would argue that the car isn't the easiest. What kind of car are we talking about?
I love a car moment.
I've been with a 6'3" guy. And sedan, which wasn't very big in the back seat, and he's lying sideways, and I'm like side into him, and it wasn't the most comfortable thing, although we really wanted to have sex and couldn't figure out a better place in Palm Springs to have sex. So the sedan car with the 6'3", we made it work. Not my favorite place, but we made it work.
I've had so much car sex. I know how to position it. Maybe my knees won't be so good now because remember we were talking about
the other day, episode 453 about aging and do you feel your age? Yeah. All right.
I'll give it a try soon. Joe has a car.
Exactly. Okay.
Hey guys, I was just at the adult bookstore down the street getting my monthly supply of lube and saw those erection pills they sell. You know, the ones that usually are at the front of the store. Maybe they're at the counter before you check out. Have you ever wondered what the heck is in those things and are they even safe? And we all know there's a plethora of products out there to keep you hard and ready, but are they safe? Many of them raise your heart rate and your blood pressure. And when drinking is involved, when we go out, we may not be consuming the best pills to do the job of keeping us hard and ready for a night of fun. Joy Mode is here to save the day like a superhero we all needed. Whether you think you need help or not in the bedroom, Joy Mode is like a pre-workout but for sex. Joy Mode makes natural and science-backed sexual wellness products for men. The Sexual Performance Booster is designed to support erection quality and firmness and sex drive. It contains clinically supported doses of arginine nitrate, L-citrulline, Panax ginseng, and vitamin C. It was created with best-in-class scientists and biochemistry PhDs. After taking the Sexual Performance Booster, blood levels of arginine nitrate will increase, which will directly promote nitric oxide production, penile tissue relaxation, and increased drive. Meanwhile, the antioxidant action of vitamin C will protect nitric oxide from oxidative degradation, which enhances the blood flow promoting activity of nitric oxide. Collectively, these effects enhance sex drive and blood flow to the penis, resulting in better performance. Joy Mode was created because the products on the market are terrible and they knew they could do better. Prescriptions come with all sorts of side effects and the over-the-counter gas station pills are sketchy and fraudulent, but a lot of guys take both because they don't have a better option. Simply tear open the sachet and mix with 6 to 8 ounces of water, just like your favorite electrolyte packet. For best use, consume anywhere from 45 minutes to 4 hours prior to sexual activity. You'll notice better blood flow, better erection quality and firmness, and increased sexual energy and drive. So you want to spice things up in the bedroom and boost your sexual performance and do it naturally without prescription drugs? We have a special offer for the TAGS audience. Go to usejoymode.com/tags or enter TAGS, TAGS at checkout for 20% off your first order. That's usejoymode.com/tags for 20% off your first order. Thanks, Joy Mode.
Okay, I love it. Well, we've got to move on. And there's a new study out on asking the question about Gaydar, and it's all based on voice. So many gay folks actually pride themselves on being able to judge whether someone else is gay. However, this new study poured cold water on this idea, essentially saying both straight and gay participants were pretty similar when it came to guessing the sexuality of others when it comes to their voice. So the study actually appeared in the Journal of Homosexuality. The author's name was Fabio Fasoli, and he's from the University of Surrey in England.
Ooh.
And he essentially polled 130 participants and played audio recordings of other people. He then asked them to say whether they thought the speakers were gay or heterosexual.
Okay.
In his second study, rather than a binary gay straight choice, he actually asked the participants to rate speakers on a Kinsey-like scale. So the study explored audio clues to sexuality, not how people dress or present themselves visually. So Kodi, was only about, does this person sound, not like, does that one over there with the short shorts and the boa, are they gay or straight? Not that kind of thing.
Why are you calling on my outfit? I don't understand.
Or the guy over there with the Rupaul's Drag Race live t-shirt on that he's cut up, I think. I'm not sure.
Cut it up. It's the same way that you gave it to me.
Okay. So the study actually was interesting because not everybody got it right, in fact. And he couldn't determine whether a lot of the people, like the gay participants, were slightly more likely to identify speakers as gay, but not necessarily accurately. So the research suggests that gay people might be less inhibited in labeling other people as gay, whereas straight people might be more cautious of doing so, given the stigma that is often attached with being queer. Overall, there was some inaccuracies of it. And I think, Kodi, a lot of it had to do with the perception of not wanting to label people. If you know this is what you're agreeing to in a study, you don't want to say this person's gay, this one's not, because we do still live in an age where people are judging people on how they identify. And so it does goes to show that we still have discrimination on voice and how we judge people. And I mean, you were saying to me offline that people have mistaken your voice on the phone before for what?
A woman, honey. Wow. I didn't.
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk about that.
I do. I was going to bring it up myself, but I didn't know you were going to call me out.
I just wanted to speed it up a little bit here.
You like get right to the point.
Yeah, let's get to the meat here.
Yeah, they on the phone with whomever. I think it was the credit card company or something like that. And the gentleman was like, "Miss," and I was like, "No, sir, I am a man. I am a man." And he continued to call me Miss.
I would have hung up then.
It was
disrespecting.
It was like he was doing it all to get on my nerves. Basically, he was doing it to aggravate me, and that's when I called his manager. And well, I'm not a Karen.
I'm glad you did. No, you should have, because.
But
just real quick.
I identify as a man, so
you're right.
If I tell you that I identify as a man, one time is whatever. It's neither here nor there. But after that, if I tell you that I identify as a man, then you need to be respectful and identify me by the proper pronouns, basically.
Well, and can we also mention that he's in customer service? So I mean, come on now. You chose this field to be in, and it's all about respecting people. Anyways, that's ridiculous. I have had friends that also have been what?
It's never happened to you before?
It has not. No, it has not.
Oh.
I mean, I have a very deep
voice.
I have a very deep voice, but the thing about my voice, though, that one of the things in the study suggested is that, well, first of all, my voice is so basic.
Yeah, you have
they might think I'm gay.
Yeah.
But they might not. I don't think anybody thinks I'm a woman.
Yeah.
So there's that portion of it. And I'm not saying anything for anything.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the reality. The one thing the study did talk a little bit about is when you are comfortable with your friends and in your group, and we were talking about this offline, there's a little bit more comfort factor than when I'm with you. Like I open the door. When you show up to the door, we are like,
hey!
So I see my friend at my favorite bar here in New York City, and he's like, "Girl," and we're like, and so we have this affection and this way that we more comfort level. Or my neighbor down the hall, and we get into it. He also has a very deep voice too, and we'll get into like, "Girl, oh my gosh!" He was saying the other day, we sound like schoolgirls when we get together. Now, my voice might change a little bit different when, like earlier today, when I was trying to get out of this one insurance into a more insurance company that can get me back on prep here. And my voice was back to deep. And I mean, it was like,
that was sexy.
No, it was like, again, I was getting really like, no, I need to know this, and very short talking. I was not like, "Girl, no, tell me about that." It was not like that at all. So
I'm going to ask you to do that again later. Okay.
And then I do it obviously I do it a little bit differently for the show, but we're here, we are ourselves, but we're also in front of audience members. So it's like, I tweak mine a little bit, but that's also my area of work. Like I've always worked in communications. So I and I'm very aware of my voice, and I tweak it all the time. But
so do I. I feel like when I'm in high stress situations, that is when my voice deepens a little bit. Yeah. Like if I feel like I'm in danger or something like that.
You're in danger, girl. You're in danger.
You in danger, girl. But if I'm kikiing with my friends,
Yeah.
I'm very relaxed. I'm talking with like just on a show. I know that I can sound very effeminate. I'm a blouse at the end of the day. So I know.
Let me stop you on that one point, because earlier on when you were dating Joe and Joe met me for the first few times, I remember distinctly one time you and I were like, "Oh, girl," and like going on in our normal way that we do. And Joe was like, he looked at you and he said, "What? Why are you talking like this? You never talk like this." Like, and he's like, "What do you?" And you were like, "What do you mean? Like, why are you saying this?" And you were just, he was like, "I don't normally hear you talking like this." And he's like, "Okay, but I'm with my girl, like, or whatever." Yeah. And
when I want some ass, I do talk a little bit.
Let's just be honest.
Let's just be honest, okay? I do.
Kodi, you in trouble.
Or if I'm feeling more forceful, I feel like that my voice deepens a little bit.
Oh, I've seen you, or when at one of the establishments that you work in, and they're acting up in that place. We're not hearing Kodi blouse.
I butch out. I butch all the way up.
I heard you kind of in that moment, not there, but in other places. Yeah.
Yes, but I feel like it's because there are multifacets to our personality. It's not necessarily I'm doing one thing and being fake as far as my voice is concerned, or my personality even. I'm still me. There's just all those multiple facets to my personality. So
that's the beauty of us. Not just you and I, but I meant us as a collective, unit. And which I think it makes us more interesting than maybe
I think it does
too. I love having all these sides to my persona that I get to express depending on who I'm with, depending on my mood, depending on what's going on in my life. I love that. And to think that maybe you only had this one-dimensional tone always, that from a vocal standpoint would be very limiting and not very fun, to be honest, in life. I would really not like life if that's what it was all about. So.
It's fun to have multiple personalities.
Yeah. And let's read some comments.
That was a
joke. Bryce says, I always get called, Bryce watching us live, because we are live here. I always get called ma'am on the phone. Oh, okay. It's always the damn credit card companies. Yeah, right.
It's true.
Who really should be getting it together, who need your money. So if they want it. What else are we saying?
He said that your deep voice make his nipples tickle.
I love it. Okay, I can do a little bit more of that. Eli says, it never happened to me. However, it did happen to my uncle, the one who outed me to my parents at a drive-thru. Oh, wow. Right. Okay.
Uh-oh, we got to get that story.
Yeah, we need to bring Eli on the show at some point and tell that story. We're going to be soon in the future. We're going to be bringing people up on our new home here. By the way, shout out to our new home here, where we get to do all kinds of fun things like polling you guys, and it's just a lot of fun, and we're very happy over here. Okay, we've got to give some advice. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of polls, so we have a 50-50 split between cosmopolitans like our girl Carrie B and mixed drinks. So continue to vote on that poll, guys and gals and non-binary folks, and let us know what you think, okay?
Got it. And if you could cue up our next image, Kodi, it's time to talk a little bit about some comic news. And this is actually in Kodi's wheelhouse. He's if you didn't know this already, he loves comics. We're going to break it down a little bit, but there's some breaking news that just happened in the world of comics, starting off with Spider-Man, the positive.
There he is. Oh, right on time.
Across the Spider-Verse trailer says transgender right. So Sony just dropped the new multiverse bending trailer for the upcoming animated film Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And one shot features a surprise Protect Trans Kids poster within the trailer. So the sequel apparently picks up after the events of the highly acclaimed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and follows teenager Miles Morales as he embarks on a multi-world adventure. Comic book fans should rejoice, as we'll be seeing a whole lot of Spider-Man variants from different universes, Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Punk, Spider-Woman, and many more. But this whole thing about in the trailer, that's all we got out of it. And somehow there was this poster of in there, protect trans kids. Can you tell us a little bit more about that moment? Because you know a little bit more about this universe, and maybe it was in a woman's room, correct? In the trailer?
Gwen Stacy's room. Gwen Stacy is what she originally was, Spider-Man's girlfriend from the 60s. They killed her off, but then more recently, I would say maybe in the early 2000s, they brought her back as a spider person herself. So she's Ghost Spider.
Ooh.
So, and what happens is, we were talking about it offline, is if you don't use a property for X amount of years, then it becomes free open. So somebody else probably could have used Gwen Stacy for whatever it's all about
like that statute of limitation thing that I was talking about, only because of the Trump trial that I've learned about, that after a certain amount of time, it's off limits, I think, is how it works.
Yes.
I mean,
so they brought Gwen Stacy back as Ghost Spider, and she is the one with the trans rights. What is it again? I'm sorry, Steve. I don't want to get it called Protect Trans Kids.
Thank you.
Yes. So so she had it in her room apparently. And what happens is, with a lot of these promos and even the movies, there are a lot of Easter eggs and things hidden in the background. And the Marvel kids are a lot. The comic book people in general, they notice the most minute details. And I'm sure that they put that in there, and they knew what they were doing, and they wanted everybody to know that they stood with trans lives. So kudos to Marvel and Into the Spider-Verse for calling that out and letting that be known that they stand.
Well, let's bring it back to what we were talking about at the top of the show with Kelseaa Ballerini.
That's right.
This is DC Comics, correct?
It's Marvel Comics.
Marvel Comics, excuse me. The next one we're talking about is DC.
Yes.
Marvel Comics knows what's trending. We know social media is huge. We know that audiences are shifting and changing, and they are making a concerted stance on what's going on in Tennessee and other parts of the countries that are enacting laws that actually would ban. So children that are already between the ages under 18 that have already decided to transition with their parents' advice and getting actual going through the procedures of transitioning with the drugs that I'm losing the names of those things, but that essentially would allow them to transition, block their hormones of the other one that they already were born with.
Okay.
That essentially they're banning that and saying that you can't do that now. And even when the child or the adolescent has decided that they want to transition, and also the parents have given their permission, the state has actually come in and saying, no, you can't do this. So it's coming into the rights of children and their parents to decide for themselves on the gender of their child. And that's just not right. So I think it's a huge stance on this, and I think it's great that they're doing this. Kodi, some bad news if you were some other comic news, if you want to cue that image. I don't know that you're...
it's not big though. How do I make it bigger?
I don't know. You rub it, you spit on it. I thought you knew what you were doing.
I know what I'm doing. I just made it big. Ooh, look at me. I'm a pro.
See, I knew you knew what you were doing. Okay. Well, the comic that introduced...
I licked it a little bit, just so you know.
The comic that introduced us to bisexual Robin sadly just got canceled. Tim Drake, Robin, a comic series that was only launched in September and focused on Tim Drake, more commonly known as Robin in the DC Comics universe, is getting the axe after its 10th installment. It was written by Megan Fitzmartin, bounding into comics notes. The series was meant to be a breakthrough for representation in comics, as Tim Drake was presented as a gay bisexual man. The picture's really sexy.
It's cute, right?
I was telling you offline that I think, why didn't you support this? Like, you're the reason that come on now. Don't look over there. Look over here.
Look over here. Oh my goodness, you're blaming me? I don't really read the Bat Family. I read more X-Men and Marvel.
What's your prejudice
I would
towards
call it
Batman?
Prejudice. I just think that the themes in X-Men about feeling marginalized and like an outcast, and they more coincide with the way that I feel and being a Black LGBTQ plus man. And the themes in Batman, it seems like they're trying to be more inclusive now, especially with Tim Drake, who I've always loved.
Well, and they tried with this, and you didn't support it, but.
But I feel like Batman is more about being a rich white man who is good at literally everything, but he could still never be as good as Superman and Capital Punishment. Okay. So I don't know. I'm just saying. That's more what it reads as. So
anything within the realm of Batman, which Robin obviously, or Tim Drake as they're calling him, I don't know where that came from, but would go under that umbrella that you're just discussing right now.
Yeah,
rich white boy.
Tim Drake is fine, and I like him, but it's just not. It doesn't really speak to me on that.
It's not
level.
in your wheelhouse.
It's not, and I like him. I've read Titans before, and he was in Titans. But I'm glad that they made him bisexual. I hope that they continue to make gay and LGBTQ plus characters that that they put out there in the forefront. It hasn't I don't know if it was so okay with Iceman. It's always been coded in his character that he was gay. I think.
Does this seem a little like left field?
It seems like it was something they jumped the shark a little bit with Tim Drake because Tim. But you know what? He has always dated women, and they've never really
of a sudden,
put those Easter eggs out there.
You know what? So I'm with you on that, and I think if they jump the shark too much, I'm on a sidebar. I really want to see the new Joker that they're filming right now, and that looks really good. Lady Gaga.
Oh my god!
And I love the original one. I love so much. I like so good. I was obsessed with it. Dark, and I loved it. What I will say about, because we were talking offline that, when there's something to do with Latino things, I need to always watch. My mom was always calling me up and saying, you got to watch, there's this new show with this Latino actor, and it's like an ABC series, a crime drama, and I'll record it. I'll try and get to it 9 times out of 10. I do, to support Latinos that are in there. I will say, though, you can't support everything. I will give it a try at some point. And if it's not good, it's not good.
Yeah.
So there was a show, for example, just to give you an example, there was a show on Netflix called Hentified that my favorite America Ferrara produced. And season 1 was so good, set in East LA. And I just thought the comedy was great. It was just on point. For whatever reason, they jumped the shark on season 2 and got a little, I don't know, like messagey in there and jumped the shark for me. Well, season 2 was the final and last season of that show. And I think I was not the only one that felt that way. But I tried to support it. But if it's not good, it's not good. One Day at a Time is a reboot on Netflix.
I love One Day at a Time.
But I don't like the way they film it because it's a little old school.
I think it's so good.
I don't like, and I love the lead on that show. But
Rita Moreno?
Well,
She's
Rita,
my lead.
Yeah, but the lead is there's somebody, Justina Chamaca.
Oh,
who
I love her.
And
I do love her.
I adore her, but I don't love the format of it. And I tried it. So with all that being said, is I try and support as much things as I can within the Latino realm, within the, you're tried it with the comic realm, but you can't do everything. So that's our take on that. Okay, we got to move on because we're belaboring these points. Let's give some advice, and I'm going to let you pick which one because we may only have time for one. Which advice would you rather give? And let's go with it.
I like the one that says, can we stop doing this?
Yeah,
I think our audience will have a lot to say.
This is a good one. It comes off of Reddit, and we love giving advice on the show. By the way, you can always write into us. Go to TAGSPodcast.com and ask for advice on relationships or sex, or simply DM us at TAGSPodcast on Instagram. They wrote here on Reddit, can we please stop doing this? matched with a nice guy on Bumble. We text for a few days, and I think it was going well. On Tuesday, I texted him goodnight. On Wednesday, I woke up a little late and rushed through my morning routine, took the kids to work, got back home, and sat in back-to-back meetings until it was time to pick up the kids from work. Quick wardrobe change, then we went to the gym, then the grocery store, then back home, cooked dinner. I pulled an old man and fell asleep on the couch for a little bit before dragging myself to bed. I waked up Thursday morning and there is a message from the guy. Guess you're not interested. Wish you luck. Bye. Like, can we just take a beat and say something like, hey, I haven't heard from you, but thought I'd say hi before instantly assuming someone isn't interested in blocking them? So back to his point, can we stop doing this? I would have to agree with you because I myself have recently been in a similar situation where I was dating a guy. I talked about it on the show a little bit, but we were, 4 or 5 dates in, romantic, going, not strong, but seeing each other almost every week. And then I had these 3 trips planned. And I only told him about the first trip because I already got this feeling that trip 2 and 3 was going to be too much to unveil to him. And I did get the message from him midway through the second trip that, wow, so much traveling. And that's all he said and never responded back. And he's he's the one that told me to keep in touch and send me pictures. So I decided to ignore that one last statement that he said. And then I sent him another picture from the second trip. And by the way, these were trips. I'm not going to go into all of them. That they weren't frivolously planned. They were all. So one of them was for What We Do podcasting, a conference.
Yes.
One of them was helping my sister in Mexico. Okay, it's Mexico, but she needed some help with her new condo. And the other one was actual fun. But he knew about that, and he actually, in the last statement, never responded back. And I think it was because too much time had passed, and he thought, what's all this about this travel stuff? And I don't get it. My sister has also been in the same, I was helping her. She was seeing a guy back home and they were dating. She, like this guy, was rushing around, and we were running around Mexico with our heads, like chicken with our heads cut off, doing so many crazy things. And she happened to miss a message from this guy. He pulled the same thing too. I guess we're not a match. Goodbye, blah, blah, blah. And it's so dramatic.
No way.
People should know that it's so dramatic when you pull that it's
It
unnecessary.
is.
And why can't you just say, hey, I haven't heard from you. Just checking if you're still there. Can I get a whatever? What are your thoughts?
Just give people a little bit the benefit of the doubt. I think that it has more to do with them, honestly, and them feeling inadequate. That when they text message you, oh, I guess you're not interested in it. It reads to me personally like you don't feel like you're worthy or what have you, and that accounts for a lot of stuff. So I feel like if you give people grace and feel, it looks like if you're interested in them and I'm stuttering a lot. I feel like if you would have more grace and actually feel like those people are interested in you, that is what I want to say. And then it would go a lot further, and you would be able to connect with them more. You would be able to have more grace with people. You would be able to really just be able to get together with people more. I feel like you never know what's going on in people's lives. You have to have give them. You're just getting to know somebody. For somebody that you don't even really know to say,
it's like calm down. It's just not that serious, and give them a minute. If somebody doesn't respond to you and it's been over several days, and it's starting to seem like ghosting, you may have something, and then it's just move on anyway because it's not.
I always say reach out to people one more time.
You could do that, yeah.
And then after that,
which is what I did in my situation, and then he just wasn't responding anymore. And so we've just moved on. Eli, watching us live, says people have lives and get busy at times as long as they are not completely ignoring you. Yeah, I think it's a gauge that, this guy is clearly busy. He has kids. He's busy in his work life and doing a million different things. The gym, so he's trying to keep his body in point for you, boo. So come, just take a seat back. You don't want him to miss the gym, and so it's like, calm down. Like,
maybe and have more faith in yourself, because you are valuable and you are worthy. So
it says more on you from an insecurity standpoint when you pull things like, when you write somebody off just because they didn't respond to you in this timely manner that you set up, that, by the way, you didn't send the schedule over to your person that you don't even know yet.
Who did you set this up with? Because I didn't get the email.
You, yourself, and I is who you set it up with. And that's a party of one and not a party of collaboration. And I'm all about the collaboration. Don't get me on my preacher bucks because we don't have enough time. But thanks so much for watching us live, guys. It really helps us out. Don't forget, you can rate and review us if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us out there. We're here every Wednesday night from 9 to 10 Eastern Time. You can follow my co-host. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching. But you can follow his personal account at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on Instagram. I am _Steve V. Or on our account for everything at TAGSPodcast, at TAGSPodcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the above. So thank you so much. And in the meantime, continue having hot
gay
sex. Yes, Christina Aguilera.